This episode is brought to you by Kia's first 3-row all-electric SUV, the Kia EV9, with available all-wheel drive and seating for up to 7 adults, with a 0 to 60 speed that thrills you 1 minute, and available reclining lounge seats that unwind you the next. Visit kia.com/EV9 to learn more. Ask your Kia dealer for availability. No system, no matter how advanced, can compensate for all driver error and or driving conditions. Always drive safely.
Join me, 48 Hours correspondent Erin Moriarty, on my podcast, My Life of Crime, as I take on true crime investigations like no other. This season, I'm looking into the labyrinth of crime and secrets within families. I'm cutting straight to the evidence and talking to the people directly involved, including investigators and the families of victims. Listen to My Life of Crime with Erin Moriarty wherever you get your podcasts.
Maze, this was a real choice.
I've been feeling nervous all day. This was a nervous watch because,
oh man,
this is the first movie that I really care about that has come up on this podcast.
Yeah.
Like, just to be clear, like, your affinity for this movie
is genuine.
This is not like me, like White Chicks. Like, I know it's a bad movie, but it's got some funny scenes in it that makes me laugh very hard. This is like, no, this movie's good.
This is a movie I've probably seen like 20 times. It's one of my favorite movies to watch with one of my good friends.
Interesting.
2007, when this movie came out, was my senior year of high school. I'm going to go ahead and chalk it up to that.
Uh-huh.
And it's nostalgic for me.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, look. There's no way we can take that nostalgia from you.
No.
You guys will. I'm looking forward to you guys trying to make me feel really bad about this choice.
I don't think you are. I don't think you are.
I mean, how do you feel about like the Lonely Island videos in general?
Well, see, that's the thing, because like I'd never seen this movie Hot Rod. Like, I'd seen it, like the trailer when it came out, and said, it doesn't look that good. But that was before like I saw classics like Jizz in My Pants and
Dick in a Box.
Dick in a Box. I'm a mother lover. You're a mother lover. We should fuck each other's mothers. I enjoy all of those little short videos. I did see Pop Star and I didn't like it. And
really?
I was like,
interesting. I thought Pop Star was hilarious.
I love Pop Star as well.
I mean, like, I don't want to give away the meat and potatoes of my dissertation on this, but I'm gonna just say this: Andy Samberg reminds me a lot, not just because he was in a movie with him, but he reminds me a lot of Adam Sandler.
Yep, I have similar notes.
Like, I can't. It's just a brand of humor that has never, ever, ever appealed to me. American boys shouldn't do it like this. Get out of my room. Like, that doesn't never made me laugh. It didn't make me laugh when Adam Sandler did it, and Andy Samberg doing a watered down version of it is even worse. I guess the biggest overall critique I have for this movie is it's just dull, man. Like I would honestly rather watch Wicker Man or Knowing 100 times than watch this.
I mean, now you're picking good movies.
No,
so I don't know if that's a fair
in this sense, at least those movies are so bad that like I can laugh at, like, oh my God, look how corny and like over the top, and they didn't know that they thought they were being cool, but this is actually really, really poorly made. As opposed to this, where it's just like nothing's happening. Oh, he hit him. Oh, he crashed into a thing. Oh, nothing's happening. The movie's over. Everybody looks pissed. Like, what was that? That was a Family Guy, right?
Right.
Where Brian is a seeing eye dog and he takes a blind guy to the movie. Oh, it's Blair Witch Project. Like, nothing's happening. Something about a witch. Nothing's happening. Movie's over. Everyone looks pissed. That's exactly how I felt watching this movie.
The Sandberg thing is interesting to me because it reminds me of, like, I'm not a huge Sandler guy at all, right? There's like 2 movies I really like, and the rest of them I could never see him again, and I'm happy. But I look at it as like not we collectively, not we us, but like when people saw like Trevor Ariza, and then a couple years later there was Devin Ebanks, and we're like, oh man, look, it's an extra Ariza, right? And like that's the Sandler
the Laker jersey.
Yeah, that's the Sandler Sandberg thing for me.
Yeah, Sandberg does a Sandler impression too, and it's kind of a generational thing, and their names sound similar, so I totally get that.
But it's clear like there's an influence there. Like the scene, like I'll tell you where it hit me. I felt it in the past before, but the scene where it hit me clear as day, because this was his first movie, right?
Right.
This was like the Adam Sandberg, I'm about to like, this is the vehicle that's going to launch my film career. And the scene where he's on his bed on his laptop and then someone opens the door. I was like, oh man, you just doing an Adam Sandler. Like that's who you're trying to be. You're Adam Sandler. You have a crew of like stupid idiot friends, and like it's never really clear how old you are. You look old enough to be like 30, but through the context of the movie, like you're still in high school or no, because Girl Next Door is from college. Like that's how every Adam Sandler movie you're looking at, like, well, how old is this person supposed to be? Well, I like acting like a child. Like, okay, Billy Madison and Mr. Deeds and the Water Boy, and they're all like these Arrested Development type characters, not the show, but the actual term Arrested Development, like where like you are an adult who acts like an 8-year-old or whatever. So I mean, I suppose that's a brand of humor that appeals to people. I'm not one of them, and unfortunately, it's not even bad enough for me to be like, oh my God, this was terrible. It was just there, like a dead fish.
You know the problem with Hollywood is? They make shit. Unbelievable, unremarkable shit.
I was legitimately offended.
You were offended?
I was offended.
I didn't know you could get offended.
I was offended.
This did it.
I was absolutely offended.
They're fucking making shit up, I mean.
Inconsequential detail after inconsequential detail after inconsequential detail.
Bees don't lie.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm holding a mic in my hands, and now I'm talking all alone.
Welcome to Cinephobe, the podcast where we break down the movies that you're afraid to admit you love. Maybe not this one. I'm Zach Harper, joined by Amin and Anthony Mayes, producing this show, picking movies, wrapped in nostalgia. This is the podcast where we think these bad movies don't get enough respect. This week on Cinephobe, as you know from the title, it's the 2007 comedy, Hot Rod. It stars Andy Samberg. It's his film debut. At the time, he was a cast member of Saturday Night Live. He had been there for a couple of years. He was about to be a voice of a character named Ham in Space Chimps.
Oh, my God.
It also stars his Lonely Island friends, along with Bill Hader, Danny McBride, Will Arnett, Isla Fisher, Sissy Spacek, and Ian McShane.
This is how I knew the jig was up. They made Danny McBride not funny.
Yeah, there's only one.
Man.
No, there's like maybe two moments where he's kind of funny, and that's it.
Yeah,
man.
I just got. If you remember when we reviewed Land of the Lost, I said literally Danny McBride could read a phone book, and I would laugh. He's just funny like that. Walton Goggins, same way, who's his co-star on The Righteous Gemstones.
Yeah,
these immensely funny people that literally, I truly believe you could give them like the manual for my dishwasher, and they can make me laugh just reading it verbatim. And I'm watching this movie, and I'm like, oh, my God, they sucked the funny out of him, too?
So this movie was written by Pam Brady, who's also written and produced for a bunch of South Park shows and movies.
Was Pam Brady the younger sister? The one that was always mad about Marsha? That's
Jan Brady.
Oh, close enough.
Jan
both
Brady,
fucking garbage.
Wow. Well, I wouldn't blame her for this one, I mean, because this movie was originally a vehicle for Will Ferrell, and then he didn't do the movie, and so when the Lonely Island guys got their hands on it, it wasn't written for them at all, so they rewrote the entire script to suit their style.
Oh, I'm about to say Will Ferrell must have a hell of an agent.
Yeah, and they rewrote it and basically ripped off this 1986 movie Rad, which is about a BMX biker.
So I've got a note later on, but I got to be honest. I thought we were watching Rad. I had confused myself, and I thought we were going to watch the movie Rad.
You
not,
actually,
not Hot
for real?
Rod. Yeah, for real. It was about 20 minutes in, and I'm like, oh, right. No, this is like, I obviously knew Andy Samberg wasn't in Rad, but I had been confusing the two in my head. Where about 20 minutes in the movie, I was like, oh, wait, this isn't Rad. This is just a knockoff of Rad.
Well, Rad was like supposed to be serious, right? It wasn't supposed to be a comedy.
It's not
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know Rad.
Yeah, Rad is like Karate Kid BMX.
Right.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So this movie is directed by, how do you say his name? Akiva Schaffer?
Yeah.
His name should be Never Should Direct Again.
Oh my
Well,
God.
I disagree because so that's one of the Lonely Island friends. He's directed all the Lonely Island stuff. He's also directed the movie The Watch and Popstar. I think Popstar is good.
And MacGruber.
Oh, he did MacGruber too.
Again, so this goes back to, I'll say maybe I have a little bit of a bias here. Every single SNL movie, they all smack of this would be really funny as a 2 or 3 minute sketch.
Yep.
And it's just every single one. MacGruber was funny as a sketch, and then they made a movie out of it like, this is trash. I didn't like Ladies Man. I didn't like Night at the Roxbury. I didn't like any of these movies.
Night at the Roxbury.
Or the one, the Molly Shannon one, which is the
Superstar. I didn't like
all
that.
of these movies. I'm just like, you guys are just taking the bit and stretching it over 90 minutes and just banking on all these idiots who tune in to SNL every week will come out and watch this movie. And there's no actual, like, for people who are supposed to be really funny writers and the funniest, they're like so selected by the hand of Lorne Michaels. Like, they're really not good at making movies. I don't feel like.
I mean, there are some that are good and huge, but I think for the most part, you're spot on. The synopsis for Hot Rod is self-proclaimed stuntman Rod Kimball is preparing for the jump of his life to clear 15 buses to raise money for his abusive stepfather Frank's life-saving heart operation. The tagline, Amin, smack destiny in the face.
All right, so question about this. Like, his stepdad is dying. It's going to take 50 grand. Where are you going to get it? You don't got it. And then he goes out on a ride or whatever because he's sad. And then he looks at a billboard and it says, the biggest jump of your life or whatever. And he says, oh, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump 15 buses to raise 50 grand. I'm like, what's the connection? I thought there would be like a competition or something.
Well, the connection is Evel Knievel, right?
Okay.
Evel Knievel did 14 buses.
Okay. But what does that have to do with making $50,000?
It's a great question.
Like, I never understood. Like, whoa, wait, how did we make this leap? Like, everyone just kind of goes with it. Yeah, we'll do this jump. And I'm like, but where does the money come in? Like, who's going to pay you to do this?
Maze, you got a defense?
We're crunching numbers now. I thought we didn't do that on this podcast,
I mean, I'm just saying, there's some bare basics, though. Like, the basics.
That whole sequence is the stupidest and most absurd part of the movie. And it ends with him seeing a billboard that says "one big jump."
What was the sequence? Was him being angry in the woods and like.
Yeah, his flash dance sequence, and then he falls for like 7 minutes.
But exactly, it's like it's a bit that should have lasted like 20, 30 seconds top, and it took him like 3 minutes to get through. And I'm just like, okay, we get it. He's falling a long way. Okay, I get it. He's mad, and he's like, they just kept going. Like, it's not even beating a dead horse; it's digging up horses that are already dead to beat them up.
$5.3 million budget, success. Because it grossed $13.9 million in the U.S., $14.3 million worldwide.
Surprised it made that much worldwide.
Peanuts. Playing with peanuts here. $5 million budget.
What were they going to spend it on, Maze? The billboard?
I think it's the billboard. I think that's the big expense there. Let's jump into this movie. Before you listen to the rest of the podcast, Hot Rod is available on Amazon or Starz. Starz subs on Amazon. That's how I got it.
I got it on Amazon Prime. So.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like, it's free on Amazon Prime. Everyone has Amazon Prime, right?
I think so.
Like, at this point, like, no one, like, they've got us all. I don't even know how much Amazon Prime costs. That's how long I've had Amazon Prime.
Yeah, I think it's $80 a year, $90 a year, something like that.
Wow, that's pretty steep.
But over 12 months, it's not bad.
They've been getting me though, like $2 or $3.
Now you went from everyone's got this right to like, shit, maybe I should cancel this.
No, I can't. Like, it comes in like too much free shipping, man.
It is, yeah.
Free.
I mean, it pays for itself. Plus, you get all this stuff. You get all these
Like
movies and music.
The movies and TV stuff to me is just gravy. Like I get Amazon Prime to buy stuff, but then it's like, oh my god, and I get all these movies, these terrible Mayes suggested movies for free.
I like that Amin has gone to, this is a podcast about bad movies to a podcast about bad movies that only Mayes likes.
Exactly.
All right. Hot Rod receives a 39% from critics on 117 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, 64% from the audience on over 300,000 ratings. Do we want the positive reviews or the negative reviews first?
Give me the positive. I want to hear what someone who just like this movie has to say for it.
Alonzo Duralde of MSNBC.
No. He knows where his bread is buttered. Give me someone else.
Hold on. Hot Rod emerges as a daffy, dorky summer surprise, a silly comedy of non sequiturs that feels like a cockeyed celebration between Will Ferrell and Mel Brooks.
Wow.
Ryan,
I'm offended. I'm more offended. I'm more offended than the movie where they have to explain 9/11 to us.
Ryan Cracknell of Movie Views. It's a simple comedy that tries to be nothing but. At times, it is simple hilarity. Other times, it's a little too Napoleon Dynamite for its own good.
That's actually a pretty accurate, other than it's funny.
Yeah.
Part. Like it is simple, yes. And it does. There was definitely moments where I'm like, this is trying to be like Napoleon Dynamite. I thought Napoleon Dynamite was funny.
Yeah, that's
so there's a part of me
funny.
Yeah, so there's a part of me is like clearly it's not me. Like I've watched movies of this ilk before and found them funny. It's just this is not funny.
Ken Fox of TV Guide. Ken Fox is a repeat reviewer on here. TV Guide guy. There's a pretty good chance you'll find at least some of it pretty funny. 2.5 out of 5 stars.
No, there wasn't a good chance that I found some of it pretty funny.
All right, negative reviews. John.
By the way, the MSNBC dude, like, why don't you just go ahead and suck Lauren Michaels' dick while you're at it?
Jesus. That is aggressive. John Anderson of Newsday. A charmless idiot, a clumsy ripoff of Jackass, and one more tiresome exercise in arrested adolescence. Add them up and you have Hot Rod.
Wow. Speaking my language, my man. Go up.
Richard Roper of Ebert and Roper. We know from the Lazy Sunday bit, Sandberg's a funny guy, but he doesn't have enough to work with here. Claudia Puig of USA Today. If you're looking for,
by the way, he doesn't have enough to work with, even though he's the one that reworked the whole script.
Yeah, rewrote the whole thing with his friends. Claudia Puig of USA Today. If you're looking for plausibility, this is not your movie. If you're looking for laughs, this is not your movie. If you like seeing delusional, overgrown adolescents fall down a lot, then this one's for you.
Claudia made me laugh harder than any moment in that movie. Any moment but one. There was one moment I legit laughed, and I was like, that's funny.
Brett Michelle of Boston Phoenix. The results are barely worth an illegal download.
Yes. Good job, Fred.
Cheryl Dawson and Leanne Pallone of themoviechicks.com. More like lukewarm Rod.
Okay. You deserve to be in the movie.
John Popick of Planet S Magazine. Andy Samberg is tolerable in a 90-second digital short on Saturday Night Live, but very, very far from tolerable in a 90-minute feature film.
Yeah.
Kyle Smith of the New York Post. Hot Rod started to go bad about the time someone in casting said, you know what? I'll bet America is just about ready for the comedy stylings of Sissy Spacek.
That's funny.
Jim Hemphill of Real.com. So lazy and so void of even the most rudimentary sense of storytelling that it showers the viewers with contempt. I've never felt as abused by a filmmaker as I did in Hot Rod.
I won't go that far, but yeah, like it's the first sentence, absolutely. I'm going to say I felt abused. I would have rather have been abused. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna be bad, go bad, man.
Right.
Go all the way bad. Don't pussyfoot around it.
Be Norm Macdonald intentionally bombing at a roast.
Oh my God,
right?
that's funny.
All right, 2 more. Sue Plurman of the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. At least Hot Rod proves one thing: even with the lowest expectations, it's possible to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And then John Thomason of Orlando Weekly, the absolute dregs of American comedy.
Those are all very accurate.
Yeah.
Well done from the critics. Like they captured my feeling in many ways.
Mayes, thoughts going into this?
Amin is so angry. I mean, I'm just holding my tongue until we start talking about the movie because I laugh a lot at this movie. So
Wow, a lot is an interesting choice of word. Let's get into it. We open on Rod Kimball putting on a costume. He's going to jump a mail truck. His friends are videoing it. We find out they didn't reinforce the takeoff ramp. He says soul of an eagle, and one appears in his mind above him. He pedals towards the ramp, barely gets up. It collapses. He crashes horribly. He's vomiting. That's our intro.
Sets the tone. He's not a real stuntman.
During the filming of the opening scene where Rod attempts jumping over this, the stuntman playing Rod actually broke his leg. That's a little factoid there.
How much of the $5 million budget was to pay for that guy's
Oh wait, it means what's the first line of your notes?
Like a bad Adam Sandler movie.
Oh wow, yeah.
Which now, given the depths of which I don't like Adam Sandler, or his movies, I should say, you should know how bad that is. Like how bad of you call it a bad Adam Sandler movie? Like, given that they have like a kind of baseline of this is how good your standard Adam Sandler movie is. This is way worse than that.
Yeah, nothing really happens for a while, right? Like, so I wrote
the entire movie.
I wrote, I guess 89 minutes of it. I wrote this movie's trying to be an 80s movies. I guess this is before I made the realization that I thought I was watching Rad. Montage of him riding through the town. Kids are riding behind him. Tells him he's jumping a public pool. He's a bumbling trickster with the bike. His friends are at a food place. He's blind tasting Jelly Bellies. Bill Hader is flirting with the server. Danny McBride finds fireworks in the men's bathroom and they don't work. And then I wrote 4 minutes in and nothing has happened, but this house looks like the house from the movie Adventureland.
They're probably both shot in Vancouver. I like the way that Danny McBride says, I just found a bag of fireworks in the men's bathroom. Would you like to light them off?
I gave it the laugh of like, oh, here we go, some classic Danny McBride humor. Yeah. And then nothing happened. And I was like, oh, they'll let him get some later. Like I kept waiting for Danny McBride to like steal the show for me in some way.
This is a real question. Do you think him not having hair in this movie affected his ability to be funny?
No.
Okay.
Here's why. Because in the chamber of one of these movies that we're going to do sooner or later is the 2007, I believe, film The Heartbreak Kid, starring Ben Stiller. And Danny McBride's in that movie. And he similarly doesn't have, like, it's either like he's clean shaven or he's got a low haircut. Either way, he's funny in that one.
Okay. So now we're back. We're in the house. Rod is going to fight his stepdad. It's Kevin. So what's the guy's name? Jorma? Is that the real guy's name?
Yeah, Jorma, a cinephobe, double dipper. He was in Land of the Lost with Danny McBride as the monkey.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oh, that's who that was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Kevin,
so he's the other.
His stepbrother is Chaka?
Chaka, yeah.
Chaka, yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, all right. I like him a little bit more now.
Wow. All right.
But I know he was Chaka.
Wow. So they're gonna fight. It's Kevin's real dad. It's Rod's stepdad. He's putting on a fake mustache. The dad is Frank, played by Ian McShane. He's the hotel management in John Wick.
Also, by the way, Ian McShane, true story. For his entire career, I've been getting him and Gabriel Byrne mixed up.
Okay.
No, he looks like a bug-eyed Gabriel Byrne.
Yeah, I can see that. So he tries to sneak up on the stepdad. Stepdad hits him. Says, "Never sneak up on a man who's been in a chemical fire." I wrote, "Laugh?" ? Is that a funny line?
No.
Okay.
No.
Frank kicks his ass all over the basement. There's this exchange. All great men have mustaches. Yeah, but real men actually grow them. You know I have a hormone disorder.
Yeah, like, again, that was like a very Adam Sandler delivery.
Yeah.
About I have a hormone disorder. Like, first of all. Second of all, the fight scene, again, was just, oh, would it be funny if he just broke a lot of things? He threw him through a wall. I'm just like, the physical humor has to be funnier than just someone getting thrown around. Otherwise, it just looks like a fight scene.
Right.
And I'm just like, I don't know.
Okay, so then he has to go take out the trash. This is where we meet Denise, played by Isla Fisher. She's the neighbor. This was 2 years after Wedding Crashers, so I wrote she had to be concerned.
Yeah, pretty. I mean, I think the supporting cast, everyone is overqualified.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Which ups the level of the performances, which are all kind of nothing parts. So this Isla Fisher part is a nothing part.
Yeah, so Rod obviously loves her. He says at one point, "You look pretty." She didn't hear him. Says, "What did you say?" And he panics and says, "I said you look shitty. Good night." The only reason I make note of this is there's a note on IMDb that it was raining during the shots of Andy Samberg, and the rain had to be digitally removed. So maybe that's where your money is right there.
$5 million right there.
Yeah. Then I write, so here are my thoughts 8 minutes in. It's hard to have one of those characters with extremely stunted growth that makes you feel like they've gone through horrible tragedy to stunt them mentally, or that they have a mental disorder or challenge which left them behind. It's essentially half of the Sandler movie characters, and it always falls more awkward than funny to me. It's part of the reason I hate Billy Madison.
Wow. Do we have a podcast or what? This guy right here. Sirius XM, are you listening?
Mayes, thoughts?
I'm with you. The setup is, he's a man-child. He's never grown up. He just does stunts all day with his friends. He doesn't have a job. It's
part of the reason why, I love Parks and Rec, but I always struggle with Chris Pratt's character because I don't know. I'm like, how bad is it, right? How bad is the intelligence? Because at a certain point, then you're just you're laughing at a challenged person.
You are basically echoing the thoughts of one Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder.
Right. Oh yeah, you never go full.
Right. Because the idea is there has to be some element of normalcy so that we can feel comfortable laughing at this character.
Right.
The closer that they get towards the end of the spectrum, or that sliding scale or whatever, the more and more uncomfortable we become, because now I'm just laughing at someone's disability, not someone being an idiot.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I don't think he's got a disability. I mean, I think he's just like a 20-year-old suburban spoiled kid.
Are you typically amused or entertained by the man-child movies, Mayes?
I mean, what's funny is that Kevin and Rod are stepbrothers, and then a year later we get Step Brothers, which does the man-child thing to the apex.
But
oddly
that
enough,
well though, right?
Yeah.
But that's funnier because they're 45.
Well, no, it's not just that.
But they don't come off as maybe they're challenged, right? They come off as guys who didn't want to grow up.
I mean, I wasn't getting that read from Rod at all.
Oh, see, because it's the get out of my room. It's all the shit that Amin's talking about. That's when I'm like, I don't know what's happening here.
I mean, that's interesting. That's something that never occurred to me.
And I never get that sense once in Step Brothers. To me, it's people who never wanted to grow up.
They're morons.
Challenged to grow up.
They're clearly morons in Step Brothers.
How is that? How is he not a moron who's never challenged to grow up?
Well, because now I'm thinking with all the stunt shit, maybe he's got some head injuries that really put him behind. I don't these are the thoughts going through my head when I'm not laughing.
I don't want it to come across as I was offended by this portrayal. I'm not saying that. I'm confused. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're trying to place it.
I don't know what they were going for. Honestly, I would have to sit and think really hard to try and figure out why Step Brothers does it so well, and Andy Samberg and Hot Rod doesn't do it well, or Adam Sandler in any movie doesn't do it well.
Right.
I don't know. I think I can't call it, man.
So here's one of 3 legitimate laughs from me coming up right here. So we find out he loves Evel Knievel, and I write the note. I don't really get the Evel Knievel shit at all, but he loves him. He has a photo of 2 men. One of them is Evel Knievel. The other guy in the picture has a circle with an arrow pointing it that says "Dad."
I didn't laugh. I was like,
that legitimately made me laugh. That's a funny prop that he would have to circle. Well, unless he has a disability, and now that's uncomfortable.
Can we drop this? He doesn't have a disability.
The movie was all built around, you got to laugh at this joke. He circled his dad in the picture and wrote "dad" on it. Then it's man, you're in trouble.
I agree. I legitimately laughed at that point, and it gave me hope. When I saw that picture, just the idea that you would have to circle who dad is, it gave me hope. Don't worry, that hope never really fulfills. I just write the note. He's really trying to get by on making weird faces and overacting emotions. And then I wrote, sometimes writing matters. So now we get to the pool jump. Rico, who is Danny McBride, Dave, who is Bill Hader, are setting up for the pool jump. Some dude named Richardson wants in on the crew. They say he can't be in it because he doesn't do anything. He then dances by pelvic thrusting to 80s music. I wrote the note, what's happening?
You don't do anything, Richardson. Oh, do I? That's his move. That's all he's got.
But okay, all right, like that's not funny. But I could see like, okay, it's funny that he's trying to be so. But then they go for like
it goes too long. Yeah,
minutes. Like how long is he gonna dance? I'm just does this add up to anything? Or did this dude really want to be in the movie? And like that was literally his audition. I could dance, and then,
yeah.
I don't know where they found this guy. I've always wondered where this guy came from.
I'll give you a great example of if you want a non sequitur and for it to be funny. Think of Dirty Mike and the Boys in the other guy.
My God.
They don't give us a whole goddamn backstory on them guys. It's just like, love Dirty Mike and the Boys. And you see them over there and they're all like bums. And then later on, they're like, Dirty Mike and the Boys.
There's a callback. Yeah, right.
You just reference it quick. There they go. Boom. Let's keep it moving. Like, no, let's keep him dancing. Now pick up the other leg and dance. Now thrust it. It's, were y'all trying to stretch the script? I believe like the definition of a feature film has to be more than 60 minutes. So, like I felt like, guys, we got to keep going in order to make 60.
If you cut down the jokes to a proper amount of time, it's probably about a 45-minute movie, right? Yeah. And so, second laugh for me, and this kind of thing will always get me. As Bill Hader is trying to get people out of the pool, Danny McBride is kind of helping him, but this kid walks by and he pushes the kid in the pool just for no reason.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the scene in Kicking and Screaming where Will Ferrell runs onto the field and just pushes a kid over in celebration. Like that will always get me.
Yeah, or like Peyton Manning drilling children with the football in that SNL sketch.
Yeah, like that stuff is always funny to me, but now he's got to do the jump. He says totem spirit fox and a fox appears, and I wrote, I get it.
Yeah, the spirit animal stuff is
It doesn't hit at all. Tries to jump the pool.
I thought this was the funniest looking stunt that they did.
Interesting.
He shorts it so hard.
This is one of the stunts he was allowed to do, like safely. So this is actually him doing the stunt.
Maybe that's why it was funny.
I wrote the note. Betty makes it. Nope, he doesn't. Halfway into the pool.
No, I knew he wasn't going to make it. And I was thinking if they want to make this funny, he's got to like fail miserably. And they did. But I just kind of like smiled. I didn't laugh. Yeah. I literally have two lines. One line where I chuckled and one scene where I legit laughed. Like that was funny. And oddly enough, it came at damn near the end of the movie. And I was like, it made it even funnier for me. But go ahead.
So Rod goes home. We find out Frank, the stepdad, is sick. He needs a heart transplant. He's been sick for 21 years. They didn't want to tell Rod because they didn't think he could handle it.
Would have been funnier if the dude was his actual dad and Kevin was the stepson.
That actually would be funnier.
I thought it would have been hilarious to me.
Yeah.
That, like he hates his own son,
but he loves his stepkid.
Loves his stepkid. That would have actually been funny as opposed to just.
Oh, that is a lot funnier. That's a funny twist.
Yeah.
Rod still wants to fight Frank.
Sorry, boy, my time's up.
But I still need to kick your ass. How can I do that if you're dead?
Well, then I guess I'll die still champion.
No way. Let's do it right now. One more for the road.
Beating me wouldn't mean anything now. I'm all through.
All I want is to earn your respect, Frank. How can I do that if you won't fight me?
Well, maybe you should have thought of that before you sucked at being a man all your life.
Oh, my God. I hate you so much. I just want to smash your face in.
Too late. I'm a dead man.
What about the transplant?
Oh, sure. 50 grand. You gonna pay for it?
No.
Of course you're not. Let's face it. You're a kid. You live at home. You got no job. All you're good for is goofing around with your friends on your moped.
You're wrong, Frank. I'm not a kid. I'm a man. I am gonna get you better, and then I'm gonna beat you to death.
You couldn't beat a drum.
Rod said he needs to go to his quiet place. He goes to the middle of the woods, does a dramatic punch dance thing for too long. He's smoking, he's drinking. I wrote the note, we're 14 minutes into this movie. He does gymnastics.
And then 40 minutes at that point.
He does gymnastics, falls down a long hill. There is a note on IMDb that the hill tumble took 47 seconds of film time, of like screen time.
Oh.
Suck it, swordfish.
Took 47 minutes.
Then my next note, Amin is going to block Mayes' number.
This is it. This is it for Cinephobe.
I then wrote the note. I was kind of hoping he'd die at the end of this fall, and the rest of the movie is a funeral.
Again, funnier than anything in that movie.
He sees a billboard for skydiving, gets inspired. I just realized we're 16 minutes into this movie, and I thought we were going to watch Rad. That's my note. So 16 minutes in, I thought we were watching Rad.
I rewound because I thought the billboard had a mention of $50,000 on it.
Oh, okay. It does not. So Rod wants to raise the money to save Frank's life with one big jump. He's going to jump 15 buses, one more than Evel Knievel jumped.
Wait, hold on. So I'm sorry. Like coming in and we've just got Danny McBride high-fiving nonstop, and then he goes, and that is how it's done. Nothing from you guys.
No.
Yeah.
You know how much I love Danny McBride, man.
Yeah. I'm in on just about everything he does. Dave needs to leave, or Dave tries to sneak out to go to work, so they just plan things at the ice rink while Dave is working. He's telling them how they're all going to go down, how it's all going to go down. At one point, there's a homeless man talking, and they thought it was Rod. They celebrate by popping bubble wrap. I wrote that's clever, not funny, but clever. Now they're back at the house. Am I missing anything, Maze?
Nope.
I'm not trying to be a dick about this. I'm really not.
No, I get it.
Yeah. I just really didn't find this funny.
It's fine.
Back at the house, he's trying to flirt with Denise again.
He's just in the garage hammering on an engine because he thinks that's what men do.
He initiates her into the crew. They all introduce themselves by saying they like to party.
So this is the part where I legit was like, all right, I may not finish this movie.
Wow.
Like it was literally turn off levels.
So it's arguments about, no, only I get to stay at party. And then at the end, he says, let's party. And I wrote, this is comedy. And then I wrote, this movie isn't really trying.
All right. So once again, nothing from you guys on Danny McBride's improvised nightmare about punching wizards and fucking all their wives?
No, because it looked like the start of a joke that Danny McBride would figure out years later on stage. Like, to me, that's the setup. That's a setup for the joke of fucking the cave women in Land of the Lost at the end. Right. Yeah. Like, to me, that was the spark of that joke, and then we see it later on in Land of the Lost.
Took them half a decade to come up with.
They're training they're holding him underwater. He says, soul of a bottlenose dolphin. One appears in his eyes. My next note is, there's no way Amin will have a lot of notes for this movie. We're 23 minutes in.
Yeah, that's about right.
He passes out because he's supposed to ring a bell if he's in trouble. The string to the bell broke, and they didn't notice because they're arguing about Kool-Aid.
Okay, so... beats of comedy. You realize, oh, okay, I'm gonna pull on the bell, ring the bell, and so I knew somehow the rope would get detached.
Right.
But I was incredibly annoyed by the fact that rather than just have him be under the bell and then the rope come out immediately, or start too far from the bell and the rope, he actually walks away from the bell. I'm like, oh, so they are clearly doing it. Like, not clearly from the movie standpoint, but from the production standpoint. Now, he's got to be farther so that the rope cannot detach. Like, y'all produced it that way to make it, I don't know. I was just very annoyed by what I thought was very sloppy production work on that one.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Denise performs CPR on him. He spits water in her face. She says she's going to go wash off the puke from her face. He asks, did it look like we were making out? His friend says yes.
I love Bill Hader yelling at his kid sister in this scene about the Kool-Aid, though. And then Danny McBride says that he can't have cherry because it'll upset his stomach.
Again, it just.
I'm just going to chime in every time that I found something funny. That's all I got.
No, I want to know what you find funny.
I do want to know what made you laugh, because like to me, that was just a lamer version of Ma, the meatloaf we want it now. Right? Like the whole gambit. And like, I wanted the little sister to cuss him out or be like, just say, shut the fuck up, get your own fuck, like something. But no, she just goes and gets the Kool-Aid. I'm like, okay, this is someone's daughter who wanted to be in a movie, I guess.
Yeah. So now we're training for G-Force. He's going to ride a skateboard down a hill. We get the whole whiskey thing where he pronounces it hard with an H. And I wrote,
I stole a bit from Family Guy.
I write, yeah. It's like they stole the Family Guy Cool Whip shtick.
It's not like it. Yeah,
no. So they claim it's from something else. So that episode of Family Guy I checked came out 9 months before this movie did.
Yes.
So I wrote, did they steal it? Then there's a note on IMDb that the gag in which the syllable WH was enunciated was inspired by a skit from the album Moment of Truth by the hip hop group Gangstar. That's allegedly where they took it from.
Okay. Or you know what? Like when the TV show that's watched by millions of people comes out and does the bit and does it very funnily and very, very, very popularly, like maybe you need to give up on your, actually, I got it from the ancient scrolls of, no, doesn't matter. You did it. You didn't do it as funny and you did it after they did it. And so I'm watching like, really now we're just stealing bits? Also like.
They've been seeing it. They really did. Carlos been seeing this thing.
Oh, I stole it from someone else. Okay. Jesus Christ.
Spoiler alert, this doesn't go well. He crashes hard into a trailer after screaming whiskey.
My trailer! What the hell? One of you is getting your dick hole smashed! Oh, I'm freaking pumped! I've been drinking green tea all goddamn day! Oh!
Man, he hit his ass with a working tone, man. Nice.
God, I go to church every goddamn Sunday! You gonna bring the demons out of me?
Rico, you got him. Not with the trash can, buddy. No.
You're there with the trash!
All right, let's get him off. Okay.
You better work. No. This is my hat now. This is totally my hat.
I love this Danny McBride part.
I laughed when he put on the hat. I laughed at that. I did laugh at that.
Okay. All right. And then they go do the dancing in the parking lot.
As I chuckled at that. I chuckled when they're doing the little...
And he shoves him into the van. Rico shoves Kevin into the van.
I didn't laugh at that. I laughed at when he's talking to the girl, and in the background, Bill Hader and Danny McBride are doing like circles with their arms out like airplanes.
Yeah.
That's the one part I laughed at.
Now we're introduced to Denise's boyfriend, Jonathan, played by Will Arnett.
Again, someone I love. And
monster comedy, yeah.
I'm ready for him to come in, and that first scene he comes in and he plays it perfect. And then, like, we never see him, or we see him, like, two more scenes, and one of them isn't funny. And I'm just like, y'all wouldn't let anybody just be funny, huh? Like, whoever was writing and producing this, like, no, you don't do it like that. You just stick to the script that stinks. And I'm just like, yo, this is one of the funniest dudes. By the way, at the peak
of his time, fun. Right? Yeah, he was hot then.
This dude was on fire, man. Yeah. Like, just let him be Job. Like, he got it from here. You ain't got to give him.
Yeah.
Let him be the dude from Let's Go to Prison. Let him be any of these characters that he was on fire with, like, at that time. Like, nope.
I thought he was funny in every scene.
So he's a lawyer with a red convertible Corvette. He takes Denise away before Rod can ask her out. She asks what he wanted to ask her. He says he's going to ask who would win in a fight between a grilled cheese sandwich and a taco. She doesn't believe him, but then answers saying a grilled cheese in a fair fight, prison rules, and she's taking the taco. He says, wow, that's pretty racist, but correct. I wrote half laugh, maybe.
The taco grilled cheese thing, apparently they retconned it in from a drawing that someone did on set. Someone made a drawing of this, and then they wrote it into the movie and made it kind of a huge callback point. So that was questionable for sure.
Interesting. Well, yeah. Family dinner. Frank's sitting with them. No fighting promise. Then they almost fight.
Have fun being married to Satan.
No.
That made you laugh.
No.
You giggled. You were like, oh, what a line. You were like, oh, I want my text messages to come in and that to be the little tone. Like, have fun on Satan. Like that. That's how you felt.
Yeah, because every joke that I make my text tone.
I'll tell you. I would. Once you go black, you're gonna need a wheelchair. I would make that a text tone if it wasn't just too much work.
We're outside now. We're training again. Rod is wrapped in pillows, sneaking around, gets hit by a van with a mattress strapped to the front. Now Rod and Denise are talking about Will Arnett. He's daydreaming about her. I wrote the note, is the point of this movie just to have the soundtrack?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the soundtrack is tight.
Lot of budget went into very, very popular, very expensive song.
That song is Giorgio Moroder, the theme from Midnight Run.
Oh, yeah. So Rod flirts with the cashier from the place they go to. She says yes, as he's awkward about it.
She doesn't say yes. He's fucking lying for sure.
Oh, okay.
They cut away, and he just like lies about it and talks about how great their date is going to be.
It took me a while to figure out that he was trying to do that to make her jealous. Like, I was just like, what's going on? Is he like, I didn't get it. I didn't get it. Like, I was like, oh, it was like after the third close up on her, I was like, oh, he's.
Instead, he makes Bill Hader jealous because Bill Hader liked the cashier. Right. We got a double date incoming. She stands him up, or I guess it never agreed to it. So he's third wheeling with Jonathan and Denise at the restaurant. Jonathan sees a friend at the bar.
Hold on. What? Why would he be checking his watch and being very irritated that she didn't show up if she never said yes to begin with?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question, mate.
Like, his behavior at the date indicates he thought she would actually show up.
Oh, so maybe she just said yes and...
Maybe she just said yes, exactly, and never intended to. It was pretty clear that she wasn't into his shit. 3 flaming Dr. Peppers, though, Zach.
Oh, speak of Diablo. Bombs away. There. Boom! There's the flavor.
So, how's your mom holding up, Rod?
Oh, pretty good, I guess. I mean, sometimes I think she's really sad.
Holy shit, is that Sullivan? Sully? Bro, no way! No way, Sully. Babe, I gotta say what up to Sullivan.
Okay.
Sweet. Hey, don't you two go falling in love while I'm gone. Like that'll happen. Sullivan, you chode! I owe you a shot to the nuts!
Like, that one, I was like, okay. That was when I was still had hope, like, oh, they'll let Will Arnett be this complete douchebag, whatever. And they show him, like, at the bar very briefly, it looks like he's talking to a girl. But again, then they literally show that for a second, but they'll show us the dude dancing by the pool for a good 19 minutes. I don't.
No, you're right. Will Arnett sees a friend at the bar named Sully, leaves to go say what's up. He says, "Don't you two go falling in love while I'm gone." Then he laughs like that'll happen. Sullivan, you chode. I owe you a shot to the nuts.
That's a laugh. Come on.
I thought that was funny. Yeah, I thought that was funny.
I smile.
But I was ready for, like, more of that. Like, let him be all in as this villain character. And it just never delivered.
Yeah, and then then he shows Denise the picture by saying, "Have I ever showed you a picture of my dead dad? You've got to see it. He's super dead."
Okay. Yeah. Silence.
Says his dad used to do the jumps for Evel Knievel before to make sure they're safe, but finally wanted the credit for doing them. So he set out to jump 10 milk trucks. His front tire exploded. He died. His handlebars went into his head. He describes this whole gruesome screen, says he died instantly the next day.
So there's another thing I've just realized right now. Many of these jokes, I believe, would be funnier if the first half of the movie was funny. Right? Like, at some point, it's almost like coasting.
To set up, like, the writing.
If you're coasting on a bike, if you're, like, riding a bike, and then you hit a downhill portion, you don't have to pedal, and it just coasts. And it's like, oh, wow. But you can't just get on a bike and be like, go. Like, it doesn't work like that. And that's what this movie is. Many of these little, like, I guess I can't even call them jokes. I call them potentially humorous moments are sapped of any momentum because the bike was never moving. It was just dead on the floor. And so, like, the dead dad. I'm like, if I had been, like, already smiling and laughing and into it, then I might be more inclined to, like, okay, like, on its surface, not really that funny, but, like, in the context of everything else that's happened, now it makes it hilarious.
So now we're on to phase 2 of training. It's not going well. They're earning money at birthday parties. 50 minutes left in this movie. I wrote the note, I don't have a lot for this montage. Amin and Mayes, anything you found funny in this montage of training?
Like, he wrecks a birthday party, but the woman still pays him. I'd be like, get the fuck off my porch and not pay him. Why is he getting paid for being terrible?
There's Rico shooting a lock open with a gun, which I thought was funny. There's Ian McShane's painting of Rod getting fucked by a horse that he's just cheekily painting with his beret on. He turns into a human piñata, and then Kevin's got Heelys, which I thought was funny at the end.
Okay. Denise teaches him Tai Chi, but then does a non-Tai Chi thing to punch him to make him crap himself. Tai Chi does not involve punching at all, just by the way. So it's not even accurate for martial arts.
This seemed like a Kill Bill ripoff, maybe, with the combo punch,
exploding heart, right? Yeah,
it was legit straight up Buzz Killington. I was just like, like I just kept rubbing my brow.
So the montage ends, and then there's one final stunt that he's doing where he's in a tower, and then Rico hits the detonation early. It explodes. Rico gets in the car and drives away. And then this is my favorite scene of the movie, is the man telling him that he's a terrible stuntman.
You're a terrible stuntman.
What?
You're a terrible stuntman.
What?
You're a terrible stuntman.
I'm just kidding. I can hear you. It was just really mean.
Nothing. God, you guys are just like comatose. Come on, that's not funny.
It didn't hit for me.
The Demolition just reminded me of like the Tropic Thunder come out before or after this movie.
After.
Because I was thinking.
So it set up a later joke for Danny McBride. Like he's just kind of working through stuff here.
Yeah, I feel like this movie was just Danny McBride. Like maybe in a couple of years,
just
I'll
cutting
try
his
this.
teeth.
Yeah.
He's building his resume.
Yeah. Kevin has been cutting together a promo video, a hype video for Rod. They're going to play it at the auditorium. They're passing out flyers. I did find this funny. So the Richardson, the guy who was doing pelvic thrusts, they let him join, and he's just throwing piles of flyers in the face of strangers and throwing them in the air.
I love when he runs up on the old lady with the groceries and just...
I wrote the note. I found this mildly funny. Like, I did think that's what, like, the idea that you're handing out flyers, but you just chuck them in someone's face. Like, I thought that was like, all right, there's something there.
And then throw them in the air and do your little dance, because that's all you can do.
Frank's pretending to sleep, but he's shit-talking Rod. I said, I don't know, Mayes, you got anything?
No, that one's whatever.
Okay. We got the note. They've made $4,900 so far. Time to watch the movie at the auditorium. People are laughing at it. Rod gets sad.
I love Bill Hader holding court with a bunch of tween girls talking about using a flamethrower and drinking out of a brown paper bag. And they're like, cool. And he's like, yeah, it is cool. It's cool as shit. Nothing.
Nah, that didn't hit for me. Amin, you?
Of course not. Don't ask him.
So they're in the auditorium and
he throws the projector out the window. Cops come and make Rod pay because the projector went through the car window. He fights with Kevin. They've now lost all the money. I write, this is barely halfway over. Then I write the note, Howard the Duck is 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. I can't believe it's that low. That was due to an Amin Al-Hassan tweet that I saw.
Really engaged at this point.
Yeah, I was pretty engaged.
Yeah, I mean, this is rock bottom. And then he finds out his dad wasn't a stuntman and actually choked to death on pie. So he decides to hang up his stuntman career.
So this must have been when Amin was on his phone.
Oh, that's why I was like, that would have been a funny
I thought you were setting that up earlier.
I know, Amin earlier, you're like, what if he wasn't a stuntman?
Yeah, I thought you were setting that up earlier. Wow, Amin's already setting up shit later in the show.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. I thought he was just a stuntman the whole way through.
Oh, yeah, he died by choking on pie in a pie eating contest. Rod throws a tantrum, tears his fake mustache up. Now he's dressed normally, shopping for alcohol, tells his friends he's not a stuntman anymore, he's just a normal guy. Then there's an inspirational speech he attempts and then walks away and gets gets plowed by a van. I write, he's okay.
I love McBride flipping out. Who am I supposed to build ramps for? Who am I supposed to build ramps for now? Nothing.
Dave calls to get a ride to the hospital.
Hey, Rod, thanks for the ride. Ah! Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Dave, what happened to your eye?
This?
Yeah.
Is it really noticeable?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's totally serendipitous. Well, I got off work early, and you know my buddy Derek? Well, he was like,
I've got this acid, but I can't do it.
And I was all like,
well, I'll do it.
So I did it. And by the time I got on my banana board, man, I was tripping balls pretty hard, man. So I decided to get on my bench grinder, and a piece of metal flew up and hit me right in the eye. It's pretty awesome. And that brings us to now.
Yeah, well, just try and relax.
Can do, man. Can do. I'm gonna be honest with you, Rod. You look like a giant eagle with fire all around you, and you've got a mountain for a face.
I'm guessing that's the drugs, Dave.
Yeah, but it's also just kind of weird seeing you drive this minivan.
Yeah, well, it's my mom's.
Balls, man! We just ran over a small bus. It's a really small bus. I just ran over it.
I didn't see anything.
Hey, we're here. Hey, seriously, man, this is like one of the top 10 nicest things anybody has ever done for me.
Don't worry about it.
Hey, I know things are feeling pretty bad for you right now, what with your biological dad not being a real stuntman and whatnot, but I don't know, the way I look at it, you still got this other dad at home, sick in bed, and you sure do love him, man. And if he's sick and you've got the talent to make him better, well, that's pretty special. And to deny that would just be dumb. All right. Take it easy, Mountain Face. Hospital?
Trash can.
Sweet. Thanks, buddy.
Apparently that's a real story where he was the friend driving the acid tripper to the hospital. That's a real story from Bill Hader, where his friend did acid and got something stuck in his face. That's a little note there.
I like this sequence. I thought it was funny, and I love how he hits him with some really insightful stuff, and then says, "See you later, Mountain Face," and thinks that a trash can is the hospital. And then also when he's inside, the nurse walks up to him and he like flips out and like tries to hit her, and then he like slowly is like sitting down on the ground.
Yeah, sure.
This is such an exercise in futility, right?
Back at home, Kevin.
I'm just waiting for the two legitimately funny scenes that I have in my notes here.
Back at home, Kevin does karaoke for stuffed animals. I wrote the question mark. Is that funny? They do this cool beans exchange in a weird way that's not funny at all to me.
The whole thing when the chanting. That's the other thing that's really big in this movie. Like
ancestors protect me or some shit.
Yeah, and they grab each other's heads.
So the thing about the Cool Beans song, it was originally pulled by the director, but the scene was edited by Sandberg and Jorma. And eventually the director inserted the scene into the last test screening where it received high remarks from the audience, with some saying it's one of their favorite parts of the film. I wrote the note. You got to get to 89 minutes somehow.
Jesus fucking Christ. All right, go
then
ahead.
I wrote the note. Do you have to be high for this movie? Part of the video gets passed around the neighborhood. Now there's funding from a radio station for the jump. It's getting set up by professionals.
An AM radio station.
People don't listen to AM like they used to. Seems like it's more about FM and color TV.
That's stupid.
It sure is, Kevin. In fact, I've got a tattoo here that fully illustrates my point. It's of this rebellious young man, and he's urinating on an FM radio. And then this other stream of urine is going on to that television set. Implausible, I know, but I like to imagine that he had sex the night before, and now a little bit of residue is blocking his urethra, allowing the urine to flow in two separate directions. You may also note that an AM radio is sitting safely dry in the middle.
It's all magic carpet there.
He says he spent the station's final $15,000 on this jump. Rod tries to call Denise. Jonathan won't give her the message. Frank has a week to live. 27 minutes left in this movie.
Okay. All right. That's the one scene, right?
Oh, that's it? That's the one that got
that's
you?
one of the scenes, yeah.
Okay.
When he's walking into the house and sees the paramedics coming out. And I don't even think they're on screen at this point. You just hear them off screen say, "I give the old man a week to live." And the guy, "It's really insensitive, Bob." I laughed at that. Like, I legit laughed.
Yeah, that's a good line.
I wanted the movie to have more of that. Like, just be sillier in that way, not silly like, "Oh, he hit me." Like,
well, I find most of the stuff that I'm laughing at is stuff like that. That's like the beginning of a scene or the end of a scene, like coming in and Danny McBride is telling a story. And it's just like a transition. I don't find most of what Andy Samberg does in this movie to be funny.
Yeah.
Really hard for me to understand that you like this movie and say the main actor who's on the screen 89% of the time, like, it's not much of what he does.
Well, I will say this in a similar way, although it's more fleshed out. The TV show New Girl. I can't stand Zooey Deschanel. I can't stand her character on the show, but I love fucking everything else about that show. It's one of my favorite shows because everyone else on the show is hilarious.
Trash show. Go ahead.
No. You're focused on the wrong parts of it. I don't think you've done your homework on that show. So I wrote the note, 27 minutes left in this movie. Oh, wait, there's probably like 5 minutes of credits, 22 minutes, exclamation point.
Was that the happiest you were at any point in this movie?
For sure. Frank warns Rod he's going to get himself killed. Frank explains he's hard on Rod because he needs to be a man when Frank dies, says he won't respect him until Rod beats him in a fight, not completes the jump. It's the day of the jump. We got a slow walking montage of people following behind who eventually are singing, and then a riot breaks out. There's looting everywhere.
The interesting thing about this riot scene is that the movie's set in Vancouver, and the end of the riot, there's a couple making out on a car, And do you guys remember the Stanley Cup riots in 2011 when the Canucks won the cup? There was a couple making out in a riot. This movie predicted the future.
That's such a good fucking... How could I forget? Then I write the note, you know what this movie is? The Lonely Island sketches were often pretty funny. I loved a lot of them and would die over them. But every once in a while, they had a big miss, and it always felt like that big miss went on for like 6 minutes, and I was waiting for the payoff, and it never happened, except this is an 89-minute waiting for payoff.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's my note there. Yeah. So I found this part humorous when they're wondering, they're talking about why did that riot break out? And Danny McBride is holding a TV. It's just like, yeah, man, you just gotta, I can't remember what he says, but it's along the lines of like, yeah, man, we just had to get out of there. I don't know what happened. I don't know who would do that.
There wasn't time to do anything.
Yeah, there wasn't time to do anything, but he's holding a TV. That's humorous. Denise finds out about the jump, ditches Jonathan. I write unfunny scene with him calling out babe to her.
Grab a vitamin water. Should I make that dose?
No thanks.
Coolio. Hey, maybe I'll get a box of dong bags so we can knock boots later. What do you think?
Truly a momentous day for listening, as stuntman Rod Kimball will jump 15 buses in a last-ditch effort to save his stepfather.
My oops, forgot my wallet.
Jonathan, Rod's doing the jump.
Oh my God, who cares? Babe, why do you hang with those nerds?
I like those nerds.
Well, guess what? You're embarrassing yourself.
It's only embarrassing if you care what people think.
That's a good one. I like that. Babe.
Goodbye.
Babe, wait. Babe, wait. Babe, wait. Babe. Babe, wait. Babe. 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 Babe, wait. Babe, no. Babe, no. Babe, no. Babe. 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 No, babe. What?
It's time for the jump. He has a new jacket. He can't control his dirt bike. He has the fake mustache again. I write the note. If my laptop dies, do I finish out my notes for this movie?
I mean, I would guess that you would say no.
Spoiler alert, it didn't die in time, so I got all my notes. Denise wishes him luck, says he doesn't know. He says he doesn't know what he's doing, that he's not a stuntman. She kisses him. It's a very awkward kiss because he doesn't know how to kiss. Dave thought they were brother and sister.
That shatters my entire universe.
Right, but then I do, and I think it's just Chris Parnell can sell just about anything for me. But he gives the note. I'm not saying that kiss was hot, but if the boner police are here, I demand a lawyer. Yeah. I laughed at that. I think he's funny. He can say anything and I'll find it funny.
He's got an amazing voice. He actually kind of has the perfect voice for AM radio.
Yeah, he really does.
It fit really well.
Yeah.
There's also that live band performing that I guess I thought this entire time was the Dan Band.
It's not. You know who it is?
It's Queens of the Stone Age.
Yeah, which I don't know their songs, but I know the name Queens of the Stone Age.
They've been around for a super long time, so I just never pieced that together.
They're just white people on a stage singing a song I didn't want to hear.
Drummer was like Indian or something. I mean,
the money stopped coming in at like $37,000. They want to see if he's going to be able to do it. He calls to all these animals, including a house cat. He does the jump. He loses his bike in midair, flies over the buses. Bike goes crashing through the stage. Chris Parnell says, I hope none of his friends had a fight with him this morning because he's probably dead. It's humorous. They think he's having an out-of-body experience. He's walking around in heaven. There's a taco costume and a grilled cheese costume having a fight. Taco costume hits the grilled cheese with a chair. The grilled cheese is bleeding out. Rod comes to and tells Nick the taco did, in fact, win. Rod tries to get up. They're telling him not to get up or move. He gets up anyway, falls back down. Crowd's cheering.
When he wakes up, he says, Hoobastank. The silence on this podcast.
Denise and Kevin help him stand and walk. Phone rings to bring in money. They hit $50K. Chris Parnell says they've raised $50,000 for Frank's conveniently priced surgery. That's a nice little callback. Yeah,
that was a lot. That was funny.
Yeah.
And then this thing that made me laugh legitimately.
Ebenezer Scrooge?
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Really?
To me, I was like, where has this sort of non sequitur humor been the entire movie? Oh my God. Ebenezer and a goose for everyone, dude. I was cackling.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't think that was gonna do it.
No, that did it, man. That's
unbelievable.
But that to me, like, that's if you're gonna do a movie like this, and I think that's why Step Brothers and all these other movies you said like they succeed is because if you're gonna be absurd, be absurd. Don't be mildly absurd.
Don't be lazily absurd.
Oh
right?
yeah, like come out of here, come out of the gates with something. Like, swing for the fences, Ebenezer Scrooge. The fact that he's sticking his head out of the bus with a goose, and I was like, at first I was like, yo, is that supposed to be like Scrooge from Christmas Carol? And then Chris Parnell says, and Ebenezer Scrooge. Then I was like, okay, all right, y'all got me on this one. Even this Scrooge right here is heartwarmed enough to laugh at this moment. I legitimately laughed out loud.
All right, so I got to ask a question about this. So there's an interview where Jorma Taccone says that originally bells were going to start ringing, it was going to start snowing, and it was going to become Christmas, and then they couldn't do that because they couldn't afford it, so they just left Ebenezer Scrooge. If they had done all that, you probably wouldn't have liked it as much, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's funny, right? Yeah, I don't think that's funny. Yeah,
it's just so out of place for Ebenezer Scrooge just to pop out of nowhere and drop that line. That's funny. But if you like make it into Christmas, and there's a fine line. I know I just said like if you're gonna be absurd, be absurd. But then it goes. I don't know. I can't.
That's overkill, though, right?
Yeah, it's overkill.
It's too much of the joke.
So the only joke that Amin really liked was a botched joke.
Yeah,
that they couldn't afford to do the way they wanted to do.
Rod and Frank are gonna fight. Rod has a wispy mustache. Frank's heart is stronger than before. He tackles him, he punches him in the face. Frank hits him with the ninja star, throwing star. They're outside fighting now. They're in another yard. He makes Frank say he's a man. Does the thing to make Frank shit himself. Freeze frame and end of movie. Amin, phobe or file?
I'm a file. No, I'm just kidding. No, that shit was terrible. That's now I'm taking the top spot of my least favorite movie we've watched.
Which I can't believe that. I really like.
What was the previous
Mr.
one?
Magoo and Kangaroo Jack. You're saying it's worse than Mr. Magoo and Kangaroo Jack?
No. Kangaroo Jack was not. It was between Mr. Magoo and Jupiter Ascending.
Oh yeah, that's
because Jupiter Ascending just didn't make sense.
Yeah, and it's real,
and it was long, and clearly they spent a lot of money on it. So maybe it hasn't supplanted that one. But I could watch Mr. Magoo again.
Really?
I could.
Really?
Like if you said you got to watch one of these two movies again, I would go with Mr. Magoo. Right?
Wow.
Because all of like the sexual innuendo is so heavy-handed.
Yeah, at least there's like the dick mobile.
Like my thing is this. Like I'm not saying it's a good movie or even a better movie. I'm just saying it is sufficiently bad in a way where I can sit and make fun of it to entertain myself. And I did like. That's the biggest criticism I have about Hot Rod is just it's not even bad in the right way. It's just dull. I mean, it's not bad. It's dull. Yeah,
I do wonder. I wonder if this is a movie on a second watch if it becomes better. You know, I'm never gonna find out. But I don't
think you'll ever solve that question.
Yeah, Mayes.
I mean, it's a file for me.
Sure, you still love it.
I still love it. It's tough because having watched it after bracing myself for both of your feedbacks and trying to watch it with a more critical eye, it's definitely not anywhere near a movie like Step Brothers, which is used to be in the same kind of pantheon of something that I would just throw on all the time.
Wow.
But I definitely still like the supporting. I think every supporting character is really funny. I think Ian McShane's funny. I think Danny McBride's funny. I think Bill Hader's funny. I think Will Arnett's funny. And that's enough for me.
I think they're funny in other things.
You thought Chaco was funny in this?
Jorma's thing is like he really does look like a little kid in this movie. The part of him singing to the animals is like, okay.
But he's clearly an adult. So
I don't even care whether he's an adult or a kid. He's not funny. The funniest thing he did was like lay down on top of his dad where his dad stroked his hair.
Right.
That was the moment when I thought, oh, it'd be so much funny if he was the stepson.
Him using Heelys and him getting thrown into the van were his highlights of this movie. So that's not exactly glowing to me.
Interesting. It's a phobe for me.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I look, I know it didn't come off this way, Maze, but like I was willing to hear out. Like there were like when we did Land of the Lost, I didn't enjoy Land of the Lost, but as you guys talked about it and mentioned some stuff, I'm like, all right, that was kind of funny here and there, right? I still don't like the movie. I probably wouldn't watch it again, but like it was
Latin Grammys, man.
But this movie, like, man, like even you're naming stuff, and I'm not doing it for the bit. Like I legitimately just didn't find those parts of the movie funny.
You know what? Like it's just not anything. It's just they're just there. They're just there.
I mean, your guys' reaction sounds a lot like the way I felt about White Chicks.
But like White Chicks was a loose collection of heavy-handed humor interspersed with some genuinely funny bits. Like there wasn't even that. Like there were not even jokes in this movie. It was just
a recurring theme, that a joke that should have been happening more is Danny McBride randomly pushing people for no reason. Right? Like it happens twice in the movie and they both are funny, but the kid one's funny and the van one's okay.
You know what's funny, Maze? I've been in your position before because I grew up up until maybe 7 years ago. I thought the Transformers cartoon movie that came out in the 80s was like the pinnacle of storytelling, intricate character development. It's like, oh, that movie's great. Oh, you wow. That's so much better than these new Transformers movies. And then I think it was 7 years ago, I went back and I watched it. It is so bad. And I was like, what was I thinking? And I was like, oh yeah, I was 7. Of course I thought it was the pinnacle of character development and storytelling. Like, this is terrible. This is trash. Like, there are just some movies that when you watch it at a certain time, you're like, this is great. And then you go back and watch it, like, why did I think this was good? Fuck, even White Chicks. Like, I remember I was like,
yeah, you were about it, and then you know, it
starts a lot slower. Yeah, I was like, it starts a lot slower than I remember.
Yeah, there's no way I can separate the
nostalgia,
the memory of watching this movie when I was 18, 19, 20 years old from now.
Tell us what you think in the Discord. Tell us what you think on Twitter at Darth Amin, at Cornpuzzle, at Talk Hoops. Thanks for subscribing. This is now on I think it's now on the mailbag feed consistently moving forward. I think it's free now, forever. Yeah.
All right. Free forever. Here we go. You guys begged for it, and now we gave it to you.
Yeah. Now we'll replace it with something else on Patreon. We have a couple of things in the works there. Thanks for subscribing. Tell your friends. Now that it's free, tell everybody about this podcast.
Yeah, tell everybody. And also, let's just say, we didn't even tell the people the good news.
What's the good news?
Well, I don't know if it's good news, but it's news. So as you probably know, if you listen to our podcast, you know the live show's coming up October 12th, Saturday, October 12th in San Francisco at the Independent. Everyone's going to be there. It's great. I don't even know if tickets are still available, but go to countofthings.com, check it out. Maybe there are a couple left. I don't know. But this is the big news of the week. And I'm pretty mad it came out after we recorded Bomb. Apparently, we got a cease and desist letter from the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the show the Warriors didn't want you to see. Right? I'm not lying. I'm 100% telling the truth. The Warriors sent us a cease and desist letter. So if you want to know what that cease and desist letter was about,
gotta get to the show, baby.
You gotta come to the show. You gotta know why they were so hot to trot to keep us from marketing our show, from putting the word out there.
October
so come
12th.
on through. Come on through. If you're in the Bay Area, if you're anywhere in California, you really have no excuse.
We got people driving up from LA.
Yeah, carpool it.
Yeah.
Why not? These people are all just like you. They're big fans. And if you're not, if you're in Phoenix, if you're in Denver, if you're in anywhere that's like a Southwest hour-and-a-half flight away.
Hey, man, the first show we ever did, we had someone drive from Indianapolis.
Yes.
People travel, man. Yeah, to the Bay. To Oakland. So San Francisco Independent Theater, October 12th. If there are tickets still available, they'll be on countthedings.com. Find out what's too hot for the Warriors.